What's up, guys? Today I am going to be taking this Jack specific 20-inch Stormtrooper from the Rogue One line of Big Figs figures, and I'm going to be customizing this one, but I'm not just going to be doing the regular kind of customization. I'm going to turn him into a Hip Hop Stormtrooper. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with the cosplayer who dresses up like a hip hop stormtrooper, but pretty much he's going to be red with white Adidas stripes. He's going to have some Adidas logos on him. He's going to have a gold chain like Run DMC used to wear. And he's going to have a boombox. So I think it's going to be pretty cool when it's all said and done. I got the idea just from seeing that guy's Instagram page, and I can link it in the description so you can check out some of his stuff. He also has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of cool stuff, a lot of shows, a lot of charity stuff. So when you get a chance, check that out. So you can see here, the figures, they're pretty well made right out of the box. They're pretty accurate. The detail on the armor is really cool. It's got all the little buttons, knobs, whatever, the parts of the armor. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to unscrew this bad boy so it will make it easier to spray paint. So all the screws are located in the back of the figure, so I'm just going to take my screwdriver and get each one just so I can separate the legs and arm and the head from the chest. So some of these are a little hard to get out, a little harder than others. Now I'm going to take the head off so I can take apart the body. The head's just rubber. The rest of it is plastic. You see it comes apart pretty easily. Take the legs off now. So I'm just going to spray paint it like this. I'm not going to take the arms apart like in half like I did like the chest and back. I'm just going to prop them up against something and spray paint it. So this is what it looks like all laid out. Eventually I'll probably cut the joints, but that'll come later. So first thing I'm going to do before I spray paint it though is I want to mask out the lines, the white stripes for the Adidas kind of pattern he's going to have on his arms and legs. So I decided maybe I'll just tape it with painter's tape before I spray paint it, and in theory I want to be able to spray paint it and then just go back and peel off the tape and have a nice clean white line. So hoping that works. So this is just me doing the first stripe to kind of give you an example what the process I did. So cut the line, marked it off. Be careful when you peel it back. You don't want to rip off the part of the tape that you want to stay on the armor. And that came off pretty easily. So I'll just go ahead and do it for the rest of the parts of the armor. Just the kind of progress showing you. And this is the spray paint I'm going to be using. So I'm about to do the first coat of the spray paint onto the armor. I found that this spray paint flowed really well out of the can. It didn't take much to get onto the armor. Actually, after doing one coat, it came out pretty well. And I wasn't really sure if I was going to do a second coat because it came out so well, but I just went ahead and did a second coat later on. But you can see it just pretty much covers the whole piece with a couple back and forths of the can. And that's what it looked like after 2 coats. That gloss look really came out well. It's kind of hard to tell in this lighting because I spray painted at night, but it came out pretty good. Now I'm just gonna let it dry for a while overnight. So I let it sit overnight and it all dried pretty well. You can see looks pretty good. Looks like shiny armor. That's what I got the gloss instead of a flat. So now initially, if you remember, I said I was going to peel off the areas that I had masked off with the tape. But after doing one stripe, I noticed as I was peeling away the tape, it still was taking some of the red off of the armor. I don't know if I didn't let it dry long enough or the spray paint was, I don't know, there's something with spray paint, but I decided to, instead of wasting all that time I had spent masking it, I was just going to go over it with a white paint marker, and this is how it looked when it came out. So I think it came out pretty well. And you can see the gold chain. I will get to that later. Now I just went over some parts of the helmet with a black Sharpie, like the top of the visor is like a black streak, and I went in with a gold paint for the little touches of the armor and the helmet that are gold, just to kind of make it pop a little bit. Back of the helmet. Now I am going to saw the joints just to give it a little more articulation, make his stance a little more dynamic and interesting, as opposed to the regular out of the box, just legs straight, arms down pose that he has. So to use that, I used a Dremel tool to cut him at the joints. And just be careful if you do decide to go this route, you use goggles, because this plastic will start flying everywhere out the saw, and if a piece of plastic gets in your eye, you're gonna not have a good time, and you could probably end up in the ER, so nobody wants that. So the saw did a pretty good job of cutting it. Just took a little, messing around, and finally got it off. And you can see, kind of give an idea how it's gonna bend. And now that I have the arm cut as well, I am going to reattach it in a bend kind of position, and I have to glue it together. And to do that, I'm using Loctite's 2-part application. It's a certain kind of glue specifically for like plastic and polypropylene plastic, which is what this figure is made out of. And it's like a 2-part application. One part is like a pen primer that you put on both pieces that you're gluing, and the other part is the glue that you just attach to one piece of the 2 pieces you're gluing together. And that's what I did for the joint, and now I'm just holding it in place and letting the adhesion take effect. While that dries, I am going to work on his gold chain. He's gonna have like a hip hop chain, like I mentioned earlier, like the rappers from the 80s wear. So for the chain, I'm actually using a gold bracelet that I had. So on this figure, it'll look like a necklace. And for the medallion, I just took a coin, and I am going to spray paint it gold, or I spray painted it gold rather. And I'm just gonna use some gold wire to attach it to the bracelet, and some for now, just some tape behind it just to hold it, just to kind of see what it looks like when it's all said and done. And voila, we have a gold chain with a medallion. Alright, after letting the glue settle for a while, I went back in with some milli putty and filled in the gaps where the joints were glued, just to kind of make it look more natural. I used the black milli putty, which was nice because that meant I didn't have to go over it and paint it black, because it does come in a cream and a gray, I believe, but I did get the black. So you can see where I had filled in the gaps on the one leg and the arm. So now it looks a little bit more like they came that way. Moving on, I am going to start working on the boombox. And to do that, I am going to take a piece of cardboard and cut some speaker holes in it. And I am going to put some little knobs for like radio dials. These little screw caps I found laying around. So you can already see where I put some holes marking where I'm gonna have some different knobs. And for the speakers themselves, I just took the bottoms of 2 cups and I'm gonna spray paint these black and just put them in the hole. And this is kind of just to give you an idea of what it's gonna look like. I will spray paint it red, don't worry. And this is just how I would add the knobs. Just poked a little hole with a razor blade after I drew out where I wanted it. And then just took the knob and popped it in. And voila, Stormtrooper gonna have some beats. You can even change the station. Alright, this is after I had spray painted. Now I'm just letting it dry in front of the heater because I need this stuff to dry quick. Don't mind the Tostitos product placement jars. I just needed something to prop the boombox on. Now that after that has dried, I'm just going in now with a Sharpie and just doing a little detailing on the front of the boombox, you know, like the radio station gauge and where the cassette would go, just to kind of make it look a little more, realistic. And now let's take a look how it all came out. You can see I also made a base. For that I just went to Hobby Lobby, bought a little piece of wood, spray painted it black, and just with a red paint marker just drew the little Empire logo on there, just a little extra touch. And you notice I sawed the gun off his hand. I wasn't feeling the gun. Kind of like it this way. And a comparison shot just to show you what it looked like before. The Hip Hop Trooper is ready to hit the streets and throw down some beats. So there you have it, guys. Hip Hop Stormtrooper in full effect in all his glory. It was pretty fun doing it. Hope you guys learned something. If you like what you saw, hit the like button or subscribe. Either one is much appreciated. And thanks you guys for watching.